With siblings, there's usually the responsible older child that gets away with everything younger child, and then there's the middle child. Born too late to be the firstborn, and too early to be the baby of the family, middle children often get stuck in a kind of limbo. Loved, but forgotten or ignored, no matter how much they might try to make themselves an equal part of the family.
Ni hao, Daddy. That means hello in Chinese. I studied so much even though I wasn't allowed to go with y'all.
Being the middle child can lead to one becoming a bit of a black sheep, their outcast nature at home bleeding out into the rest of their life. Many middle children on screen are actually the geniuses of their families, a surprisingly pervasive subtrope.
I wish she was never even born! They were trying to make one with a brain!
And even given all of their struggles in childhood, middle children can actually have a good shot at ending up the most well-adjusted adults out of their siblings. It's time to give middle children their moment in the spotlight. So let's unpack this trope. Stereotypes associated with birth order have long existed, and psychotherapist Alfred Adler developed his own theory around the specifics of how when you're born into your family can affect you as you grow and develop.
It's different with me. I'm a star. Well-la-di-da! What does that mean? It means that Marcia's getting to be a pain in the neck. Well-la-di-da!
The older children are often seen as, or forced to be, the responsible ones. And as we analyzed in our video on the eldest daughter, she's usually made into essentially another parent. The oldest child also gets a, however brief, moment of living as an only child before the others show up, and so can form a special connection with their parents in a way that the others aren't able to in the same way. The younger siblings enjoy all of the perks of being the babies of the family. Their parents have usually become more relaxed as they've had more kids, so less pressure is put on the youngest to be perfect and responsible. And because they're the babies, they're often able to weasel their way out of responsibilities or consequences because in their parents' eyes, they can't do wrong. And often, the parents feel that one of the older children is actually at fault for not looking after them. The youngest children also get to have a certain level of comfort that arises from knowing that there's always someone looking out for them, be it a parent or sibling.
You are not leaving this table until you tell your sister that you love her.
Middle children, on the other hand, get stuck in, well, the middle. They don't have the power or responsibility of the oldest sibling, but they also don't have the freedom of the younger sibling.
There's nothing like 2 days at the hospital to make you appreciate your own home. Give me that.
Oh my God.
I'm the one who figured out they were wrong, remember?
Well, if you're such a genius, why didn't you figure it out sooner?
Nothing like 10 seconds at home to make you appreciate the hospital.
While the older sibling might get attention for either their responsible nature, or being the first in the family to do something, or even for acting out in the face of everything put on their shoulders, and the younger sibling can get attention for just about anything, the middle child often feels lost in the shuffle.
She's like a self-cleaning oven.
This, unsurprisingly, can often lead to life feeling like a competition between the siblings, where they have to battle it out on the daily for love and resources.
I like watching Jesse get in trouble. It makes my bird twitch.
Ew, Judy! Get out of here!
What the hell is a bird?
And this is, of course, a particularly hard uphill battle for the middle child, as they already feel like they're starting from the bottom. It can also become a problem when the other children are keenly aware of their own position and advantages, and use that to get the better of the middle child.
Why is it so hard to get you Russos to do something nice for each other?
Because when you're doing something nice for someone, your guard is down, and that's when another Russo will come right behind you and trip you.
Given all of this, it's not surprising that middle children don't always have the best time as kids.
You want to know what the best thing about childhood is? At some point, it stops.
Feeling forgotten about or overlooked can lead to the middle child going to extremes in an attempt to get attention from their family. This could be in the form of acting out or closing themselves off. Though often on screen, it comes out in the form of a snarky wit that they use to throw jabs at everyone else in the family. If they can't get attention, they can at least make themselves laugh, and maybe knock another sibling down a few pegs in the process.
It's not easy being the smart ones in this family.
Don't compare us! Your last English paper came back with a Garfield sticker on it that said, "Way to go!"
And this is a key position of the middle child. Because they exist in that neutral, often ignored middle ground, they're able to observe the rest of their family from a bit of a remove, allowing them to see and better understand everyone else's inner workings and flaws.
Who do you think you're talking to? Mama, I know you. I know you to be a nasty, jealous, scheming no.
Feeling left out or like no one else notices your true potential can be heartbreaking as a child, and lead one to becoming rather jaded. We often see middle children on screen going down some very dark paths in attempts to feel like they're in control of something, like they have power in some part of their lives. From Edmund momentarily going to the dark side, to Game of Thrones Stannis Baratheon making so many terrible choices.
The choice is no choice at all. He must fulfill his destiny and become who he is meant to be.
Even if they're not pulled into the total darkness, the middle child can often still feel like they're under immense pressure to do something to claim their own space in the family. Because no one else is usually paying too much mind to what's happening to the middle child, they're often left to their own devices to decide what to do with their life and how to make an impact. This can lead to them just giving up and going with the flow. But most often, especially on screen, this leads to them becoming intense overachievers as a way to stand apart from their siblings.
Luke has a giant project due tomorrow for school that he hasn't even started, and Haley just informed me she needs 40 cupcakes for her school fundraiser.
I'd like to point out I completed all my assignments on my own and on time.
Oh,
No,
Alex.
Whether you're a stressed sibling or a solo-only child, the holidays can be tough, especially when you're trying to find great gifts for everyone that you care about. But thankfully, it's now so much easier to find amazing, unique gifts for everyone on your list. Spark something uncommon this holiday season with incredible hand-picked gifts from Uncommon Goods. Finding fun, affordable gifts can make the holiday season so stressful, but Uncommon Goods makes it so easy to find awesome things that your friends and family will love, without spending forever scrolling sites and searching through stores, and without breaking the bank. We found so many great goodies on their site. Some of our favorites have been Binging with Babish's Eat What You Watch cookbook that's allowed us to start cooking so many tasty meals from some of our favorite films. And to keep track of those films as we've watched or rewatched them, we've been loving this 100 movie scratch-off bucket list. It's such a fun way to keep track of what we've seen and what we still want to watch. Both of these would make the perfect gift for the movie lover in your life. Uncommon Goods helps you support artists and small businesses and find high-quality, unique gifts for everyone, from kids to grandparents and everyone in between. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. Many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches, so make sure to start shopping early before they sell out this holiday season. And you can get a discount and support The Take. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/thetake. That's uncommongoods.com/thetake for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Being the overlooked genius of the family is a major subtrope of the middle child we see on screen. Sometimes the families do appreciate an attempt to foster the middle child's smarts, like with Laura on Family Matters.
You're exacerbating the problem instead of ameliorating it.
I am not. But just to be sure, I'm going downstairs to check the dictionary.
But most often, the middle child's apparent genius just leads to more problems. Malcolm of Malcolm in the Middle is the archetypal smart middle child. His smarts make him stand out from the family, but he often feels like it makes him weird rather than superior.
Around here, being smart is exactly like being radioactive.
And while he's good at school, he often still has a hard time understanding his family, and they're just as confused about him.
Is Malcolm a robot?
No, son, he's just smart. Very, very smart.
His parents want him to be able to do great things with his abilities, especially his mother Lois. But because he's so different from them, they often feel like they don't know how to really give him the help and attention he needs. And they've got a lot to focus on with their other kids. The genius middle child's parents are often well aware of their smarts, but this actually leads to them leaving the middle children to their own devices even more, because they feel like the other children they have need more help, while the genius middle child can handle everything themselves. Modern Family's Alex is the poster child for this.
Get straight A's for 10 years, spend your summers building houses, drag your cello to school every day, write the perfect essay, and for what?
Because her older sister Haley was often getting into trouble and her younger brother Luke was often up to something, Alex was left to her own devices to figure out how to make her big dreams a reality. She took it upon herself to overachieve to a wild degree. And while everyone in her family obviously knew that she was super smart, no one really understood how much work she was putting in until she had a full-on mental breakdown.
There is a 16-year-old science prodigy studying cancer research at Johns Hopkins. 16! What am I doing? I'm eating cake!
No.
It took her totally coming apart at the seams for her parents to finally take the time to understand just how much pressure she was under, and realize that just because she figured out how to take care of herself doesn't mean that she should have just been left alone to deal with everything in her life.
I had no idea the kind of pressure you're under. Honey, I was just you for 2 hours. I could barely hold it together. I don't know how you don't have a meltdown every day.
While there are certainly parts of being a middle child that can be less than stellar, it can also actually set those middle children up for success in a number of ways. While their younger siblings might never learn to truly be responsible for themselves because they're always used to someone else being there to pick up the slack or take the blame, and their older siblings might burn out early on from the stress of being responsible for so much so young, the middle children can sometimes skate right through the middle and actually come out the other side as the most well-adjusted of their siblings.
I know now I need a purpose. That's what I've learned. I can't just lead one of those purposeless lives.
And while feeling ignored by those closest to you can certainly leave lasting scars, the ability to fly under the radar also allows middle children a different kind of freedom to try out new things, experiment, and start to figure out what they truly want out of life.
I have regular woman panties where the string goes up my crack. I have tits. I do sex. I'm carving my own path.
Since no one else is going to draw them a roadmap or help them along, they begin working on finding their own way from a young age.
I want to use science to improve the world, like I did in Antarctica. Back off, you disgusting snow chicken!
While being overlooked may have meant that they had to learn to fend for themselves, they can still form close bonds with their siblings, even if they don't always see eye to eye. Because of that remove from which they were able to view the family, the middle child is also able to see the important bigger picture.
Because in the end, you're my sister. And one day, only we will remember Sybil. Until at last, our shared memories will mean more than our mutual dislike.
Middle children might have an uphill battle to get the attention they need and the respect they deserve, but that doesn't mean that they're not an important part of their families. Growing up in the middle of everything gives them a different perspective on the world, and a key set of skills for surviving it. It's time we let the middle children have their moment, and give them the appreciation they deserve.
Something happening in this house is actually about me.
That's The Take. Click here to watch the video we think you'll love, or here to check out a whole playlist of awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.